If you seek creative ideas, go walking.
Walking. Now, many creative folks have talked about the benefit of walking and the impact that it has on the work that they create.
All truly great thoughts are conceived by walking. Every day, I walk myself into a state of well-being and walk away from every illness. While walking, I am but a simple gaze.
Today, people have even applied the creative benefits of walking and applied it to the workforce. Steve Jobs, for example, was well known for his walking meetings that he would take with people he worked with. Walking can be a great way to break up your day and stimulate your thinking. It's relatively low cost and easy to do. Researchers have found that walking can be restorative, calming, help reduce weight-promoting genes, cancer, and improve immunity. A series of 4 experiments from Stanford University published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that walking was associated with a type of thinking linked to creativity called divergent thinking. Divergent thinking is spontaneous, nonlinear, and has an ability to come up with many ideas relatively quickly. The study also looked at participants' ability to problem solve, create new analogies, and have a free flow of ideas. All 4 of the experiments found that walking increased creative types of thinking. One experiment looked at 4 different conditions: sitting inside, walking on a treadmill inside, walking outside, and being pushed around on a wheelchair outside. What the study found was that walking outside generated the most creative types of thinking. It led to the most new analogies and the most high quality analogies. This also applied, though, when facing a wall on a treadmill. So the researchers think that it wasn't attributed to nature alone, at least in this study. Walking seems to have the greatest impact on divergent thinking in these studies. The researchers also found a residual effect after the participants returned to sitting from walking. This effect did not apply when participants were sitting only. There's also some evidence in one of the experiments for creative boosts in thinking when walks are unstructured as compared with structured. Now, these findings might only apply to creative types of thinking as opposed to convergent thinking or executive function. And one reason for that might be soft fascination, where no direct attention is required and people are typically in a more diffuse, passive type of thinking. Attention restoration theory suggests that walking in nature might help facilitate this type of soft focus. Researchers in 2008 found that walking in natural environments as opposed to walking in a city helped restore participants' previously exhausted mental capacities. Walking outside also improved participants' ability to handle challenging tasks after the walk was completed. Researchers hypothesized that free associations may also be improved by walking because of the suppression of memories, and this may be because of the mind-body connection. Walking in nature may also be particularly helpful for people's mental well-being. A 2019 mixed methods review published in the Journal of Occupational Therapy found that walks in nature with others help to facilitate feelings of social connectedness, relaxation, respite, enjoyment, connections with nature, as well as feelings of achievement, believe it or not. Walking in nature also was associated with less worrisome thinking. One study in the review found that improvements to mood lasted 6 weeks after the walk, and 2 studies in the review found that depressive symptoms in older women significantly decreased over a 4-week period. During an almost surreal time of lockdown, walking can be an even more vital route to feeling connection with the outside world and help stimulate your creative thoughts. So with that in mind, here are 4 tips to help make your walks a little bit more creative. Tip 1, free walking. Since unstructured walks seem to promote more creative types of thinking as opposed to structured walks, try taking a walk with no direction or goal in mind. Take a different route than what you usually take, and just try not to get lost, but definitely try something a little bit new. Walk in a place that you've never been before. This can be a great way to help stimulate your thinking and generate free associations by continuously being in a new environment. That way you're more likely to engage in more creative or divergent types of thinking. Tip 2, sound walks. So the goal of a sound walk is to pay attention to and notice all of the sounds in your natural environment. Are there cars passing by, birds chirping? Try and notice all of the different sounds that you hear and make a list of them. Another thing you can do is record the sounds. This is also known as field recording. So you can either zoom in on a specific sound that you want to hear and record, or you can focus on the big picture of all the sounds together. One exercise to do is to create a template ahead of time. Note down all of the different types of sounds that you want to hear, like a hissing sound or a whirring sound, and then find them. One great thing about this is that you can use this in an art piece later, in a piece of music. And if you're in lockdown or otherwise unable to walk, this is something that can also be done from a window. And the great benefit of this exercise is that it might help change the way you hear things. Swedish experimental and electronic composer Clara Lewis said she uses these field recordings, and she said, "Some of my friends know I use these recordings, and now they come up to me and tell me about sounds that they've heard that they thought I might want to use. They started listening in a totally different way and noticing stuff they'd never thought about before." Tip 3, sketch a noteworthy landmark. So something that you can do on your walk is pick out a favorite landmark, either that you just like the features of, or it reminds you of a certain memory that you had that's maybe fond or that you really enjoy, and then take a quick sketch in a notebook that you bring with you. Or you can take a picture to paint or draw later. You can even do this with characters or little critters that you see. And then another exercise that you can do is a poetry walk. So you can take something like these sounds that you recorded from the sound walk and expand that to include different senses. So different things you see, textures of the objects that you might imagine might be like, tastes of things, smells, even include your feelings and your kinesthetic or body visceral experience. Then you can create like an audio kind of poem, or you can create a page poem that sort of mimics the sounds that you hear or the things that you see. And it can be a really unique kind of poem that really showcases your own personality. Tip 4, take a nature bath. Don't worry, this doesn't involve any type of actual bathing. A nature bath or a forest bath is a type of ecotherapy aimed at increasing a person's well-being through exposure to nature. So instead of immersing yourself or your body in water, although technically I guess you can, the goal is to immerse yourself in nature. Some people close their eyes and sort of just take in their surroundings. Others do yoga or tai chi. Feel free to do whatever suits you, but just make sure that the goal is to increase your sense of relaxation while in your natural environment. Try to see if these experiences or exercises can help inform the work that you create or the work that you create in the future. And at the very least, you're bound to come out less stressed, according to research. And what do you think? I'd love to hear. Are there any tips you have to help stimulate your ideas or any experiences you have while walking? Share in the comments below. I'd love to hear and join the conversation. As always, my name is Sarah. If you'd like to keep participating in creative conversations, consider subscribing. And until next time, keep making stuff that matters.